Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Yay STEM. This is the May edition. This is our last edition of the year. I think, as every teacher knows, we are quickly approaching the end of the school year, and we wanted to finish out our season talking about STEM and how it can be used to finish your school year with a bang. I know that in my building, that after you take your standardized tests, that there's a lot of, we'll watch a movie or we'll just have study hall. And so the three of us, we need more time to finish everything. So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about, was how we end our year.
So we did talk about keeping the kids engaged and keeping our creative juices flowing as well. So we just had Eli Lilly's program at school come present to the fourth graders. Chemistry is a blast. So that was super fun, gets kids even more fired up about science and asking questions. And I love the message of the show, which is science is fun and experiments are cool, but what can we learn from them? And so then I thought, yeah, really, I mean, everything we do needs to have a purpose, even this time of year when we're feeling like the kids are antsy, we're antsy, but really thinking back to what is my purpose in this.
Well, and I think that this is the time of year that, you've done so much. Let's apply it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's do the projects that we wanted to do and keep them engaged and trying to showcase what they know and what they've acquired over the whole year. I mean, in first grade, I know that so many of the things that we do relate to animals, and they keep coming back to animals based on the stories we read, the subjects that we visit, the standards that we need to cover. And so, like, one of the things that I've done is I host a Zubilation, and we invite parents and people that are able to come in from the school, and my kids run it. Basically, there's one of my students, he's dressed as the zebra because that's who he researched, and he was doing projects on the zebra, and then he was able to be our tech guy and help the other kids who were reading their slides. And then there was a group that welcomed the kids in, and it was just, we put together something, but that still wasn't the end. We're still researching other animals now. We're moving on to other projects that are more based on our passions, and we're going to get more into that too. So it's finding those things that your kids want to learn about. Have them take a sticky note or do a Jamboard one morning and have them just sticky note a bunch of ideas of, hey, this is what else I want to learn about this year. And take those ideas and think, okay, how is this related to the standards that we need to cover still? Or these are things I want to learn about too as a teacher. So let's figure out a way to bring that into our classroom.
Yeah, and the Zubilation thing, for those teachers out there that are trying to build a partnership like we have, is one that as a first grade teacher, when you say, I just need a little bit of help reaching out to a high school teacher or a high school club, I sent a bunch of kids over and they just helped them with their slides, with getting pictures in. And it was an awesome day for my kids. It was an easy thing for me to send. I didn't have to put any kind of a STEM activity together. They just went and became helpers. And so it was really neat. My kids came back from working with your kids, having had this awesome experience, talking about animals and giggling about the kids and their costumes they were going to wear. And so it was a neat day. I totally agree with both of you guys that this is the time of year to take and make some kind of a culminating project where they're using all these skills we give them. My picture on the right is just a typical working in a group. But the difference in this group from where we started at the beginning of the year, where they had no idea how to even talk about ideas, how to throw out ideas. We did the most awesome brainstorming activity, again, using sticky notes, Dayna. See, we can use the same materials. where they had to do, it was funny because they really get chatty this time of year, but just quiet, add an idea of something that impacted you this year and let's pass those notes around. And they've gone from that to building a capstone project that we've worked on for 7 days, which is a long time in the high school setting, where they have been given a blank slate laboratory that they can design to solve a real world problem. And, you know, they are very rarely are asking me for help. They are scaffolding. We're going to talk about some of that in this later on in this broadcast. And they are smashing apps together and they are using tech in a way that at the start of the year they never would have. But I am in agreement. We take this time to say, what did you care about? What do you still care about? And how can we apply that to this next last thing in our rooms?
So when we're talking about scaffolding the tech, you know, leading to success for all, it's like anything in the classroom, right? Everyone requires a little bit different of a level of scaffolding. And my picture on the left, this was probably within the first week of school. The little girl in the middle, she's using Flip for the first time and navigating it and pushing all the buttons. And it took some peer support and it took us talking through it. And, you know, it looks a lot like FaceTime. So explaining it that way. But then realizing that tech is for everyone and thinking about even ourselves as we're learning tech. It can be intimidating. We need to see things multiple times. We have to try it ourselves and really just applying that to the kids. And let's be honest, they pick up on it faster than we usually do because this has been their life, right? Technology has always been a part of their life. So Dayna, talk to us about how you use scaffolding with technology.
Well, one thing that I think is interesting is based on our conversations this year between the three of us and some of, you know, before streams and after we do a project ourselves or do something within our room, we're like, wow, wait a minute, I can use that too. You know, there's so much that you can use cross-curricular in any grade level, but you scaffold it to meet your standards or the needs of your students. And one of those that I just love so much is Epic. And my kids can use it right from the get-go, coming in as kindergarten babies, you know, into a first grade room, all the way up to, you know, high school. If you need to, if it's at, you know, if it's something at their level that they need to research, they could do that if they needed to. But the thing is such a great avenue that has real books, real videos that you can find on YouTube or anywhere else, that all the kids have to do is put in the topic that they're researching, and it brings these books up for them. And there are books for them to read themselves, books that will read to them if they are not at the ability to read that level of book. And they can see videos on the same topics. One thing that I love about Epic is that I can pre-select items for each student and differentiate for each student in my room. So if we're doing a topic on pandas, which is right here, we did a panda day and research pandas because we were really talking about, the kids were really passionate about how they can help these endangered animals. And I was like, well, panda is one of the most endangered animals. So let's study the panda and try to figure out ways that we can help endangered animals. What are things we can do? So we did that, but I put in their mailbox, based on their reading level, what they could read. So if they're not going to be able to read something at above, you know, a 7-year-old level, then I'm going to select books for them that are going to read to them if they don't want to read it themselves or they can't figure out what the word is. Also, if it's a book that they need to read, they can just click on the word. It gives them the definition. It also reads it to them on a word that may be a multisyllable word that they don't know at that time. So it's great for your ELL students. It's great for anyone really, but also multi-level and also younger kids. And the little girl in the middle is like doing that research. She's found a spot in the room. She's researching about her topic, and then she's just writing some notes in her journal so then she can later on present it in a certain way with a project. And I think it's great. And I think that as we go into the next slide, I think what is the best about some of these apps is that all of those apps right there, all of us can use from, the smallest, the youngest kid going from kindergarten into first grade, all the way up to the high school level. And it's just differentiating it and scaffolding it and making it fit the needs of the kids in your room. And, in some of those, I probably would not have used if someone hadn't shared that idea with me by the discussion, the collaboration like we've had this year. And when we provide feedback later on, that this is where we would love for you to say, hey, this is how I use some of these apps, or this is how I smash them in my room, because we want those ideas too. Yeah. So it's really exciting. What I tend to do is I start with Jamboard in September for my first graders, because it's kind of an easier way to import pictures, type on a text in with a little sticky note, and then I can use it throughout the year as a group level or individually, and then it feeds them right into all these other apps where they are slides or wherever they need to type. They have to grab pictures. It just feeds them into that and helps them easily progress to other things.
Yeah. And, I think that when we speak privately about this, one of the things we say now is don't say they're too young, or don't say this is only for young kids. Because, those of you guys that have been in our audience all year know that we're a very unique group. And what we've found from each other is we've learned so much this year. And I don't know that I would have ever said, the optimal person for me to collaborate with is a first grade teacher, right? But the things that I have done this year, I would have never considered, is because Dayna and Karisa and I have started collaborating. So for instance, one of Dayna's things, if you guys have ever watched the early episodes, is when she has students miss school, they make a jam of where they've been. So I had a young lady right around spring break that she's from Brazil. She got to go home for a month, and that's what I made her assignment. She's an ELL student, and she came back, and last Monday she gave us the most fantastic presentation about Southern Brazil. And my class was captivated by it. It was so awesome. We learned about her, and she had all these pictures of food and her and her grandma at this big party. And it was just wonderful. Would I have ever considered that? Never. Right. And, you guys that have watched, I was slow to start Flip, probably because you're just too busy. But in January, when we said new year, we're doing something new, I took on Flip. And oh my gosh, it's changed how I do a lot of stuff in my room and assess people. I'm sending my team of hosted kids tomorrow to the middle school. They're doing a capstone project after having finished Edgar Allan Poe. And they said, can you come up with something? And I said, yes. So we're taking cold cases there. And the kids are going to solve cases. They're going to use JAM to make a good looking evidence board, just like Dayna would do in first grade. And then they're going to make a Flip video report for the police commissioner, just like Karisa would do. And so we're smashing apps with the 7th grade. And then the last one, I have some other ones on here, Tinkercad. My kids use it in biomed to have that kind of engineering piece, but I know that we use it in our elementary because it's used to help 3D print. ArcGIS is another one that PLTW brings in. It is a real life application that they can not only work with maps, but they make they're called storyboards. They're absolutely so professional looking. I hands down cannot, you can look immediately when a student for me does a project, whether it's a video or what, and it's done in Canva, it is just a different level than what you get in slideshow. And then finally, the ladies have influenced me. We talked a few weeks ago, and I was saying I need to do a good capstone project for my second year biomed for when they finish their national exam. And Karisa immediately threw out, you should do book creator, that your kids could do this. Of course, never too young, never too old. And Dayna was like, you know what they should do? They should write a children's book about a system of the body. And then we can share those with our little first grade friends. So I have really taken on this tech piece. I'm trying to just infiltrate to anyone that will listen how incredible the tech is. And I think sometimes it's hard for teachers of our generation because we started with chalkboards and it was all out of the textbook. And so, but we have at our fingertips really incredible things. And so, Chris, if you want to elaborate a little bit on some apps.
Yeah, I just think you don't even realize that you are app smashing. I mean, this is just, something within the last couple of years talking about layering the technology. But we do it all the time. I mean, when we have kids in slides and maybe they're doing audio clips or they're pulling in pictures from Google Photos. I mean, using apps, these apps or within the Google Suite. I mean, you're doing it all the time in your day to day to make your professional work even better. So why not have the kids, right, who are going to need these life skills as they get older? And so anyway, we just have a lot of fun with it. And we do have a lot of fun talking through these ideas. I was at a conference just recently presenting and I had somebody gave a great idea. Hey, we teach water cycle. Why are we doing the workbook page where even the non-reader can look at the picture and pull the word that matches and still not understand the concept? Why don't we have the kids take a picture outside, put the picture in a Jamboard or put the picture in a slide, and then they have to write about what's happening and insert video or insert an audio clip saying, here's the part in the sky where in the clouds, condensation is building. Why are we not having kids do it that way? I'm like, that's genius. I needed to hear that idea. Taking pictures in nature, describing where are the solids, where are the liquids, what's the gas in the picture. So anyway, looking for those ideas. Always keep your ears open. You never know. Even this time of year, we're learning new things. But yes, these are some of our favorite apps. And if you're overwhelmed, we always say pick one to get familiar with, pick one to feel comfortable with, and get good at using. And then that'll open the door to others. As we move on and we talk about keeping ourselves engaged to keep the kids engaged, this was just from a couple weeks ago on the left. My class took a field trip to McLeod Nature Park. They let us get in the creek. The kids waded out there. They had their Crocs on and their boots and they had their nets and they were capturing just the essence of nature and the beauty of nature. And it was so wonderful just to be outdoors with them because there's so many kids that haven't been in a creek or haven't had an opportunity like this. So we had a great naturalist leading us and helping the kids identify invertebrates. And it was just a wonderful experience. And I thought, I'm never in any pictures with these kids. I'm going to take it when they're not even looking. And I just was so happy with, wow, like look at the learning happening behind me. Nobody's off by themselves. They're all together, working together, sharing nets. Like this is the kind of learning I'm all about. So what are your kids working on in the middle, Elaine?
Yeah, so my students take their national exam Monday and Tuesday. We've got a big push here to the finish. It's just like any standardized test, right? So then we have 5 or 6 days of class. And so this is what my first year biomed will do. These are from last year. They're making life-size portraits of the human body systems. It leads into the second year. It's crafty. They get to draw and they get to research and cut and paste. They get to take those skills from the first grade and they really like this finish. One of the great things is they do major learning, but they have a really good time. It's a very social finish to the year. They laugh about whose nose looks, goofy it just is an awesome finishing project. They're very busy. I'm just not a do nothing person. So they work in teams of 8. They have to really collaborate. We actually, with this one, I use kind of that old school jigsaw technique, that was big about 10 years ago. So they get in their 8, they pick a body system. Then I take the body system people, they all research together. Hey, we're all on digestive. Let's figure this out together. And then they go back and work with their group of 8 to build their life-size human body. And then there's a piece of it that kind of layers in how systems work together. So we got about 5 days. It'll take them the full 5 days. There'll be no boredom. There'll be no just sitting around. So last picture there, Dayna.
Well, what I think that you're saying here is the fact that busy hands, busy brains, cut down on behaviors,
Oh,
right? So if
yes.
the test is over, why aren't we engaging them in things that they want to they want to learn more about, that they want to discover more, and they can still continue to collaborate. They're still talking, they're still having that voice, but then they're talking about your body systems. Or in like my picture, they're talking about how to make dough, because we had pizza day and we were exploring fractions and we had to make our own dough. So they're sitting there trying to make dough out of the materials that were given to them. And it was a mess, and that's okay, right? It was a complete mess, but messes can get cleaned up.
Yep.
But their hands were engaged, their minds were thinking, and those behaviors weren't there. So that was good. But also we got to think about, hey, the test is over, all that pressure is over.
Yep.
Why aren't we turning to our passions, right? So we can turn to the things that we love, and not only if they want to learn about it, that's fine, but maybe I like to learn more. I like to learn more about the ocean myself. So that's what we're getting ready to start doing this next week. They have learned about zoo type animals and animals from all these different habitats. Now we're going to zone in on animals of the ocean, because that's where the majority of animals live, right? So we're going to be doing that. And I even asked my kids, what animals that are you wanting to learn about? And then those are the ones we're going to focus on. And that's a passion of mine. I love learning about that. We're talking about what marine biologists do and what biologists do and what their roles are. And so it's good to feed into something that you're just as excited about learning as kids.
Yeah. And, as we kind of wrap up the year, I think every teacher, we have to have a breather. We've got to give ourselves a chance to enjoy those things we're passionate about. And I don't know about you guys, but I find when it finally slows down and it's quiet, I can think of new ideas, and I can think of how I want to approach a little bit different. And so I find summer not just a time to rest and relax, but I agree with you, Dayna, it's time to explore the things we love, right? It's work in the garden. It's read books for fun. And it's be with my children and travel. But I do find that summer gets me ready and excited about July time to go again, to have new ideas. And I just want to kind of say to our audience out there, don't limit what you can do because you don't think it fits in a normal curriculum, right? We've really, I think, tried to show this year that you can blow the doors off of your room. And so as you start to relax and think of new ideas, don't pass an idea by because you think, oh, well, you can't do this at school, because we have really found, and it really started with this very eclectic group. I mean, if you'd have asked me, even last year, who needs to be in your group as a teacher to help you grow? I would say other science teachers in a high school, right? And so don't be limited by the norm, and we all love the outdoors, and we bring that passion into our room by talking about, by doing. We grew plants with the first graders at Guilford last week because we wanted to start flowers so they could take them home to their moms and see how they grow. And so you can take something you're passionate about, you can bring it back into your room. And then you bust the doors down for the kids. Karisa has seen that multiple times over the last couple of years, that exposing these kids to the national parks, to national park rangers, they're going out there and they're saying to their parents, no, can we go this year? Can we go to a national park? I want to go meet a ranger. And so, Karisa, your final thoughts?
I just think we're, like you guys said, we're in such a unique position as educators to be able to share our passion with a group full of kids every year. who are just exploring their own, and you just never know when you're going to light that spark in them with something you say, or a photo you show from your own vacation, or something you found out that you want to research more in class now becomes their passion. And so really take the time to be inspired by books that you read and things that you see outside. It's such a unique position, and really, I don't take it lightly that we can help these kids decide what they're going to do with the rest of their lives or be passionate about. And like, we talk about the outdoors. If we want the kids to care about the outdoors, they have to get to know the outdoors, right? We have to help them understand how to take care of our earth and why it's important, and to care for others. And so you see these kids that are first graders and fourth graders and high schoolers really kind of change before your eyes in a year. And it's pretty rewarding by the end of the year. You just kind of hate for time to be out, and you just hate to let go of them. But as we wrap up, just stay with it these last couple of weeks and find things that excite you, because if you're not excited, the kids won't be excited. I just keep telling myself that. We keep telling ourselves, if we are not excited, how can we expect them to be? Make the most of the last couple of days. Here are previous episodes. You can find us on the YouTube channel for Keep Indiana Learning and the Indiana Learning Lab. We also will be starting season 2 in August, so we're really excited to touch on these topics again, go a little further and a little deeper into some of them, talk a little bit more technology. We will also be in a collaboration at the Virtually Different conference on June 13th and 14th. So make sure you register for that. And then, as always, we would love your feedback because it's important to us. And like Dayna said, it would be nice to know what you are doing to share your ideas, because we certainly don't claim to know everything. We just come together and we try to, we just want to make connections with other people and help each other grow in the process. And there's a question on there that does ask for ideas for upcoming episodes, because we are starting kind of with a clean slate. We don't have anything in stone yet to start in August. So if you want to give us some feedback, that would be awesome. And then, as always, we have our contact information in case there's something that you would like to reach out about, or something you'd like to collaborate on. We are always looking for collaborators. So yay STEM, yay for 9 episodes, and the people that stuck with us and collaborated with us along the way. We're so thankful to Keep Indiana Learning for giving us this platform and really a voice and helping to bring us together with other Indiana educators. So I think stick with it. Keep that smile on your face for the next couple of weeks, and we will see you guys back in August.
Yay, STEM!
Yay, STEM! Happy summer!